Congressional Republicans just wrapped up a 3-day confab where they agreed to massive tax cuts, accompanied by, of course, precisely zero spending cuts. One out of two, I guess, from Washington's drunkest sailors. The agreement was part of a GOP effort to unite around a massive tax and spending bill to, quote, codify Donald Trump's campaign promises. It does great on taxes, extending Trump's first-term tax cuts and planning for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and slashing business income tax. Alas, it only cuts $31 billion in annual spending, roughly 0.5%, the federal budget, and then it immediately turns around and adds $32 billion in new spending, so no Lockheed is left behind. Pressed on the lack of spending cuts, the Washington Post cites Republican officials claiming the cuts are, quote, floors, and Republicans will, quote, aim to reduce spending far beyond them, and I got a bridge to sell you. As for what paltry cuts are in there, it's work requirements on Medicaid, cuts to food stamps, and canceling some green projects and student loan bailouts, which are all good ideas, but pretty standard for Republicans. It's basically getting socks for Christmas. Moreover, these tiny spending cuts stand in stark contrast to the massive cuts Trump and Elon have in mind, on the order of $1 trillion per year. In other words, Congress is acting like it's just another day in the park, oblivious to the massive mandate Trump just won for radically shrinking the federal government, its power, its scope, and yes, its budget. Now, presumably they're doing this because they're afraid of left-wing media demonizing cuts, but those days are gone. They are jumping at shadows. Now, I've mentioned in recent videos how massive federal spending cuts are key to Trump's economic agenda, because most of what he's doing is otherwise inflationary. So juicing investment raises inflation through loan creation, tariffs do it directly, even deportations raise wages, which raise prices. That means the only way Trump's big, beautiful agenda can avoid Bidenflation 2.0 is if Congress radically cuts spending so government money is not competing up prices. Now, granted, we're only 2 weeks in, but at the moment, it's looking like a repeat of Trump 1.0, where again and again, Trump tried to radically shrink federal spending, but Congress kept blocking him. So in Trump's 2018 budget, his first, he proposed $360 billion in annual cuts, was equivalent to about $600 billion today. Congress instead raised spending. Trump tried again in 2019, scaling it back to just $54 billion in cuts, equivalent to $100 billion today. Again, Congress balked, raising spending by 6 times that. Again, in FY 2020, Trump's last budget before COVID, there he proposed a 9% cut in non-defense discretionary, and again, Congress instead raised spending. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. Like the rest of the DC swamp, congressional Republicans have become very comfortable with the way things are, even as their voters want to drain the whole thing. The key will be Trump's ability to channel voter anger and frustration so a GOP Congress actually serves the people and the voters who put them there. And if they fail, Elon has already committed to primary every single Republican who stands in the way of the people. It is amazing how the threat of losing their job can concentrate the mind of even the most spineless rhino. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.